Welcome to the KX Country Clubhouse, and joining me in the clubhouse, we welcome from Nashville, Thomas Rhett. Thomas, how you doing?
Hey man, how are you? Good to talk to you this morning.
Yeah, we're doing real well. Thank you. First of all, congratulations on the Academy of Country Music Award from a week and a half ago for a Male Artist of the Year.
Thank you very much. That was an awesome night. I appreciate you saying that.
And what is that like going into an award show where you know that you are nominated? Is that in the back of your mind? Is the performance on the show the first and foremost? What are kind of the priorities of an evening like that for Thomas Rhett?
Yeah, I mean, for us, it was really just making sure that me and the band were ready. It was kind of the first time that we'd gotten back together to play in a very long time, and much less on national television. And there weren't that many people in the room. There were a bunch of healthcare workers that were sitting up top. So it was kind of the first night that I had really played in front of anybody, since October of 2019. So it was really special to not only get to hear, live applause, but that applause coming from a bunch of healthcare workers here in Nashville. And, I think when you're nominated for an award, it's always in the back of your mind that you could win. But just kind of knowing that the category that I was in, it was really tough, sitting there with Eric Church and Luke Combs and Dierks Bentley and, all these people that I truly admire. When I won that award, it was very, very surprising to me. But a moment that I'll never forget. So it was a really, really fun night.
And were Lauren and the girls at home watching on TV?
Yeah, they were. Most of these award shows are a little bit too late for our kids, to be out. But usually on award show nights, we let them stay up way past their bedtime. So that's always my favorite thing is after awards, to get to come home and get to hear what they thought about the show and what they thought about Daddy getting to sing on TV. And it's always a really, really special moment with me and the kids.
Nice. And they're all doing well.
Yeah, everyone's doing well, man. Just kind of starting to see a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel from these past couple of years. And, girls are starting to go back to school a little bit. And, it sure beats Zoom learning for our kids. It's nice for them to actually be taught by a teacher and get to see some of their friends. And so everybody's good. Everybody's just growing up really, really fast. It's kind of crazy.
It's amazing how quick it gets faster as they get older. I'm telling you.
That's what That's what they say.
So kids are Zoom learning when you are putting the new album together, working on new songs. The new album is called Country Again Side A. Are you Zooming with songwriters to create new music?
Yeah, I mean, that was the majority of my last year. I wrote a bunch of songs on the road in 2019. And then moving forward into 2020, this whole, Zoom concept kind of came about. And I was kind of really against it in the beginning because I just enjoy being in the same room as my songwriters. But, Country Again was actually the first song that we wrote via internet writing. And it kind of boosted my spirits to be able to be like, man, maybe we can do this. And so there were quite a few key tracks that were written, over Zoom during 2020. And so I'm very thankful for technology that just allowed us to be able to still, just stay connected. Because there's a lot of songs that I don't think would have been written without it. And so in that aspect, I'm very grateful for it.
The new album is called Country Again Side A. Country Again, is that reflective, that title, of the whole album?
Yeah, I mean, in ways, I think a lot of people are going to hear this song and take it very differently from one another. But I think in my brain, when I wrote that song, the term country again just kind of solidified things that I kind of put on the back burner for a long time. It was things that I love to do, but forgot that I love to do. And in 2020, it was made possible to be able to, go fishing with my dad or get outside and go hiking with my kids or just build a fire and, things that I think life kind of got in the way of. And once I had the moment to kind of settle down with it, country again to me ultimately means just kind of living a little bit more simple again, kind of just enjoying the little things in life. And it was kind of a freeing moment, to tell you the truth. And so, I think a lot of people are going to take that song very differently, but I think a lot of people were forced to kind of slow down and kind of, relearn some things that they missed over the last 5 years. And so the whole record as an entirety is definitely along, these lines, and a lot of story songs, a lot of very personal songs in this record. And most of it was penned, early 2019 until a couple weeks ago. And we're still cutting songs for the second side of this project. And it's definitely been one of my favorite projects I've gotten to work on as an artist.
One song I can't wait to hear from the new album, I hope I get this title right, The Guys That Are Going to Date My Girls.
Yeah.
Did I get that title right?
Yeah, it's called "To the Guys That Date My Girls."
Yes.
It's really, yeah, that's one of my favorites on this record. I remember that writing process so vividly. I wrote that song in Alabama in 2019, and I actually got to play it that night at the show. And that song is really just kind of a rough draft letter to the guys that are going to one day show up at my house, asking to take my kids out on a date and trying to figure out what kind of dad I'm going to be, in that scenario. What am I going to say to that kid? Am I going to be friendly? Am I going to be tough? Like this is kind of like my preemptive letter to my, probably 45-year-old self, and to my kids when they're 16 or 17 years old. So that's a really special one on this project.
Well, your oldest daughter is going to have a much harder time than your youngest daughter.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right.
I'm the youngest of 4 boys, and my oldest brother says, "Derm, you got it made. You had it made."
Yeah, I mean, I even look at like my wife. She's got a younger sister and a younger brother, and her parents were so much harder on her dating wise, curfew wise, than they were on the other two. And I think it's kind of the same with kids. You kind of are super nervous when you have one, and then you're less nervous when you have two, and then you kind of feel like you have it figured out by the time you have 3. So I can see that kind of molding into as them being teenagers as well. So thank you for that advice.
And you're heading back out on the road. We got a summer tour planned.
Yeah, we do. We kick off in August. I think it's like 25 or 26 shows this year. Most of them are rescheduled from last year on shows that we had to kind of move to this year. But yeah, just, I was talking about earlier, just kind of feels like things are slowly sort of getting back to how they used to be. And knowing that we can, gather again safely at some point in time this year is just a really, really amazing thing to know, and I think all of us artists have missed playing music so bad. And I think a lot of listeners have really missed going to live concerts. And I think that this year we're going to make a lot of great memories on the road. And
your dad's going back out on the road with you again as well.
Yeah, he's going to open for us on a couple nights on the tour. I think the first couple nights actually, and it's going to be fun. We got Cole Swindell out there with us and Gabby Barrett, who I'm a super fan of, and it's just going to be fun, man. I'm excited to get back out there with other country artists that are dying to play shows as well, and hopefully we can put on a rocking show for people to really enjoy on the weekend. So.
You're obviously a fan of many genres of music, and I recently read that one artist you would love to collaborate with would be Bruno Mars.
Yeah. It'd be crazy. I mean, I don't really know what we would say or what we'd write, but I've just always been kind of infatuated at how he kind of took so many of my favorite elements from the 60s and 70s and made them modern. And I don't know if you've ever seen one of his shows, but it's pretty incredible to watch. I mean, so you talk about like one of the great entertainers of the world, somebody that I've definitely tried to learn from and incorporate into my show. And I've met him a couple times. We've never gotten to be in the writing room together, but maybe one day down the road we'll make that happen.
And Country Again Side B is planned for later in the year, or is that something that you're still working on and still completing?
Yeah, it'll probably come out, I would say, between September or November. We thought we were finished with it, and then I just kept writing songs and back in the studio and putting more songs on it and trying to figure out what the best way to incorporate side B would be. And it really is just an extension of side A. We just recorded so many songs in the studio. There were too many songs that I loved, and I wasn't prepared to leave them behind, so we kind of just went for it and decided to split it up so that people could kind of consume side A of this record and also be able to consume side B. And so, by the end of this year, we'll have a lot of new music out there.
The brand new album from Thomas Rhett is called Country Again Side A. Release date is on Friday. And then by the end of the year, Country Again Side B. Thomas, thank you for joining us today, and safe travels on the road. You and the family stay safe. And we look forward to you being able to come across the border and back to Canada and KX Country, hopefully in 2022.
Yeah, that's the plan, man. I can't wait to get back up there. We miss playing in Canada so bad. So the moment it pops on my calendar, y'all be the first to know.